Hello, welcome to Finding Your Higher Consciousness podcast. I'm your host, Coach Cary. Today, you guys, I am so freaking excited. Dr. Brad is here with me. I had the pleasure of meeting Dr. Brad 2 years ago when we have a commonality in some sports that we like to play. But Dr. Brad is a author, entrepreneur, financial genius, psychology doctor, influencer, number one dad in the world, but he shares that title with myself. And I've learned so much from Dr. Brad just from his content. And you've literally helped, I was thinking about this today, millions of people, because there's been so many people that you've connected with through social media that is just so special. And I'm so grateful to have you here. And welcome. How are you doing, Brad?
Thank you. I was hoping you were going to say I was a really good pickleball player.
Well,
I'm aspiring.
Well, we both are.
Absolutely. I'm doing good, man.
Awesome. So where did you grow up? Like, what were you like as a kid? Let's talk about that a little bit.
All right. Well, I grew up in the Midwest, so in a little town outside of Detroit, Michigan. So kind of like hardworking, long-suffering. That's the word that comes to mind too, which is something I'm still working on overcoming, actually, is this Puritan ethic that you got to work harder. You're not working hard enough. I mean, so I definitely grew up in that type of scenario. You too, you got that. And I would say in a lower income environment. So my parents divorced when I was 2, at which point that is a financially devastating experience. And so, yeah, I grew up with a single mom for a while. My dad, fortunately, my dad didn't leave the area, so I did get to see him. So that's good. But that's how I got it started, man. I don't even remember a life that didn't involve various levels of scarcity and chaos.
Were sports a big part of your life growing up?
Yes, they were. I mean, I think that gave me an avenue to at least have a good experience and to get out of the house and all that. And I was able to. I grew up in a time, actually. So we're filming now just outside of Boulder in Denver area. And we were talking about it before we started filming, and I'm coaching my son's baseball team. Fortunately, when I was growing up, you didn't have to be an expert at age 6 to be good at sports. There's so much pressure.
Is that the level now?
It's like, crazy. It's like, yeah, if your kid's not on a travel team by age 9, I don't know if they're going to be able to play high school. Which is an incredible amount of pressure for something that's supposed to be fun. And it sort of takes the spirit out of it, I think, for a lot of kids. But for me anyway, I saw a path. And I think I had like a financial mind even as a kid, because being poor sucks. And I didn't like being poor. I didn't want to be poor. And I realized that there's some sort of method here. It's not that there's something wrong with me. It's not that there's something wrong with my family. It's just we're not thinking the right way. So I had that thought early on. It's like, I don't want to be poor. And so I wanted to go to college because I saw that people who go to college make more money. That was strictly the only reason why I wanted to go. And then, but college was expensive. And I'd grown up playing a variety of sports. But then I realized in high school that the absolute best athletes all played baseball, basketball, and football. And so I immediately crossed those off the list because I wanted to become the best athlete in a sport so I could get a sports scholarship to go to college.
Smart, yeah.
And so literally I started playing tennis my junior year of high school, where I realized that, no offense to tennis players, I know that's changed too. Like, you got to start at age 2 if you want to be good at tennis. But for me, I just shifted to tennis, and I sort of became obsessed with it. And then I was able to do fairly well in high school, enough to get a college scholarship to go to college. So sports were big for me in that sense.
That's fantastic. Where did you go to college?
I went to college at Olivet University. It was a small school in Illinois, private school. But it was great because I played 3 sports in college. You know, they gave me a scholarship for soccer, 1 for tennis, and then I ended up playing volleyball too. So it was a blast.
That's amazing, bro. That's so great. And as we know, we both like to play pickleball.
Yes.
And so the love for the sports and the competitiveness has not stopped, and it probably never will.
Yeah, it never will. And you know, honestly, for me, it's since we are talking about higher consciousness, to me, that's really what sports is for me. It's a if you want to do well at sports, you have to be in the moment. You have to be in a flow state. And the only way you can really do that is to sort of let go of what just happened. Like if you're all torn up about a point that you just lost, or even worse, I find too, because I coached tennis for 10 years, high school level. And if you're thinking you're going to win, if you're sort of attached to the outcome, like, oh, I got this, your performance declines. And so you really have to be in the moment. You have to work with your self-talk. Like, are you building yourself up? Are you putting yourself down? There's so much psychology involved in it. And that's one of the things I love about it. In the midst of a match, I'm focused, I'm calm, I'm in the moment, I'm not worrying about the past, I'm not worrying about the future. And so for me, it's a form of meditation, quite frankly.
Well, and it's so nice because your awareness comes up. And when your awareness comes up and you're in the moment, that's when you're playing your best, the flow state, and it's just everything's a feeling. And I have that same issue because I've always been so hard on myself. And I'm like, dang it, you did this. I'm like, no, you need to say, just do better. It's the next shot. It's the next ball. So that positive, self-talk is so important. And that and being the case in anything that you do in life.
Yeah,
It's important to have that.
it is. And I developed a little mini expertise in sports psychology, and I would train my high school kids in this. And really, what's so fascinating, and this plays out in so many areas of our life, but your body kind of knows what to do already. So if you've gotten a baseball bat, went up and you hit a ball, you know how to hit a ball. And so your body already knows how to do it. It's like there's so much wisdom in your body. And the more that you start to talk to it, the worse you're going to get. It's almost like you have to step out of the way of what your body already knows what it wants. It's almost like you have that potential inside of you. And of course, there's some skills you might need to learn. But I've seen you hit perfect forehands. And I've hit a couple myself. And it's like your body could hit a perfect forehand every single time. Like, it has the ability to do it. And the only thing that's going to stop it is your self-talk. And so what I found, and this is all based in science too, is and I think this works in every area of your life. So you have to have a clear vision of what it is you want. And so, for example, like in baseball, let's say it's a target. I want to hit this part of the mitt. Or in basketball, I want to hit that part of the basket.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to have a target. I experiment with this, just having kids throw balls against the wall. Like, I put a little dot up there. There's the target. And you throw. And if you just observe where the ball hit, your body's going to automatically adjust. So if it went high and to the right, the next throw is going to be lower and to the left. And you're going to work yourself. And if you do that enough, you're going to be nailing the target every single time. But the problem is we start to talk to ourselves and interrupt the entire process. Because to actually throw a ball at a different angle probably employs 100 different muscles and joints doing different things slightly, way out of your conscious control. But there's so much wisdom in there. And I think this plays out in every goal, financial goals, career goals, a clear vision of exactly what you want, and then being open to the feedback you're getting in the world. And then you can adjust your approach.
How would you recommend someone do that in their everyday life? Like, what's one action they can take to be able to slow down and be able to be that aware?
Yeah. So I think it's the first thing is having a clear vision of what it is you want. And I'm using the word vision purposefully because one of the studies we did, I know we're going to be talking about money, but we were trying to get people to save more money. And this was one of those fancy experiments where I got funding. And so I ran it in 5 different cities, and people would come in and I put them in one of 2 conditions. So like in a drug study, you'd be taking the drug or taking like a placebo, right? And so that's what we did. So people wanted to save more money. I put half of them in a financial education class, teaching you about why you should save more and how to save more. The other half we put in a psychology experiment. And probably the biggest thing we did in there is I literally had them close their eyes and imagine their ideal financial reality being manifested. And I had them come up with their top 3 financial goals. I had them create a vision board, like an actual vision board. And I had all these art supplies and they cut out pictures. So what is it? Is it financial freedom? Okay, that's great. But what does that look like? What are you doing? Who's with you? How does it feel? What would it be like to be experiencing that? Or let's just say I want a car. There's nothing wrong with material goals too. What kind of car? What color? What year is it? And then I had them create those vision board things, because what that does is you're giving your subconscious a target. It's just like with sports. You're giving it an objective. And it's so incredibly powerful because what we found is that within 1 month, those people were saving 72% more than they were before that experiment. And part of it is because they got so excited about these goals and they had a very clear vision, and it started to shift all their behaviors consciously and subconsciously so that they could achieve it.
So would lead right into that mindset and having that poor mindset or a rich mindset. Can you talk about that a little bit as well?
Yeah. So I really do think that mindset determines just about everything, and including money. And so, in my book, we talk about a poor mindset and a rich mindset. Yeah. And it's not about how much money you have, it's how you're approaching life.
Mm-hmm.
Because I certainly know people who make a lot of money and have a poor mindset. And because of that poor mindset, they then have no more money. They spend it all. They have high income, they spend it all. I know people who have never made more than $40,000 a year who retire millionaires, and they have a rich mindset. And so that's what we've identified as these very specific beliefs. And one of the things I'm trying to do with my children is help them have a rich mindset, not just when it comes to money, but around everything, around a rich mindset around relationships, a rich mindset around career, around giving to others, around receiving everything. So there's a very clear pattern of beliefs that's associated with people who have better outcomes in life. And that's what I'm trying to instill in my children. And I started to do all that research to try to instill it in myself, because I definitely had a poor mindset. And then that's why I'm here talking to you, because I want to try to teach it to as many people as possible.
How well do your kids receive that information about money? Because that was one of my questions I was going to bring up. But yeah, because they're not adults yet. They're still younger. And how do they receive when dad's saying, hey, you need to do this, or watch what I'm doing? Because I know when I was teaching my kids, I would say something to them and they'd be like, oh, okay. And then someone else would say the exact same thing to them, and they'd come to me and be like, hey, Dad, did you know this? I'm like, I've been telling you that for 5 years.
I know, that's hilarious. So little side note, I was trained as a clinical psychologist, but then my specialty was child psychology. So I did that for 20 years in Hawaii. And one of the world's most eminent experts in child psychology. And then I had my own children, and I realized I don't know anything. I realized I was an expert in other people's children, not my own. I had to start from scratch. I'm a total idiot when it comes to my kids. So I'm hoping for the best, and I'm doing my best. But to answer your question, I think some of it is, what's reality for kids? What's normal for kids? And so my kids are swimming in the ocean of, when you get money, of course you save and invest at least half of it. What are you talking about? Is there any other thing you could possibly do? No, not in my house. And so that's what my kids do. So they're probably going to be exposed to people in the world who don't do that. And they're going to be like, what? You're not saving and investing all your money? What are you doing with it? And so that's kind of their mindset now at 13 and 8. But it's crazy too, because my 13-year-old, he's obsessed with investing. Like, he just loves it. So, I mean, and I incentivized him too. So part of the thing I'm trying to do is reinforce the behaviors I want to see. So for every dollar that comes into his life that he decides to invest, I match it. And then one month, my wife's like, we can't be matching $500 a month, because he's out there mowing lawns and hustling.
Doing an influencer program.
Yes, doing an influencer program, making videos. And so I had to cap it. I had to cap the monthly match.
That's hilarious. Your mom's or your wife's like, he's making more than we are.
Exactly. We can't afford to keep matching him. But he's smart too. He'll be like, all right, so what's the match? I forgot what it is, like $250 or something. And so then he'll hold on to the cash for the next month and then hand me it to get the full parent match.
What's the number one thing someone under 21 years old could do to start saving money?
Yeah, so I think it
besides read this amazing book right here, which I recommend to people all the time.
Thank you.
All the time.
I would say that it's the rich mindset, I think, that matters most, just on a practical financial level, is that you are going to save and invest a percentage of every dollar you make. And when you save and invest it, it's untouchable. Like, that's not money you're going to take out for whatever. Oh, I heard I can take out a loan on my 401k. No, absolutely not. Because you're going to want to. The reason I'm saying not is because you're going to want to. And I've seen so many people who've cashed out their 401k to start a business. Most businesses fail. And of course, so you have to be really smart with it. So looking at it like that is sacred financial freedom money. So that is money that's going to go into an account that's going to churn out more money for me. That's the goal. So it's a mindset. And I'd started as early as you possibly can in life. Every dollar I get, I'm going to save and invest a percentage of it.
Did your wife have the same mentality when you guys met around money?
No, she did not. And it's good she didn't have my mindset when I met her. When I met my wife, I was making six figures in income at that time. I had already gotten my doctorate, and I was working in the public school system in Hawaii, and I had four side hustles, coaching. I was a tennis pro, and I doing all this other stuff. And I drove a $500 car. I had lawn chairs for furniture. I had a mattress on the floor. I didn't have cable. I mean, I had two forks. I had a plate. I mean, that's what I had.
I remember that from the book.
Oh, do you? Yeah. Well,
your wife's like, I think you can afford more than one fork and one plate, Brad.
Yeah. So and I wasn't even aware that I was living this way because I was just so focused on paying off my student loan debt because I owed $100,000 on that thing. I was so focused on I'm not going to be poor. I'm not going to be poor. I'm going to save and invest. I'm going to, and to the point too where it was detrimental to my health. Like I was so anxious about not being poor that
so almost like you had an attachment to it.
Oh yeah, I had
extreme attachment
that was unhealthy, quite frankly.
So she pulled you out of that.
She helped pull me out of it, and it was very uncomfortable because she's like, how about a couch? And I'm like, a couch? Yeah, but I'm pro couch, because they're comfortable. So she has brought some of that into my life. And by the way, when I'm sort of presenting her as a spender, but it's only in the context of me. Like she's not an overspender, but I'm a dramatic underspender. So I think that the universe, one of the benefits of my relationship with her is she's helped balance me out of it.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
I want to speak to someone who's a little more our age, and specifically like to myself. So I'm in my early 50s. I made a lot of money. I used to own my own business, and that business didn't make it. And it put me in a financial position, and that combined with a divorce and all these external things that have happened in my life, and it's put me to a point where I don't have much savings, So besides, obviously, I'm showing up every day and I'm working hard. Is it back to when you start making money to start saving a portion of it? What would you recommend to someone that's also in my place?
Yeah, so I would actually recommend the exact same strategy. It's a strategy that I wish I had started earlier. Like I didn't really even make any money till I was in my 30s. My kid's going to be so much wealthier than me just because of the time value of money. And he started investing. He's already got over 10 grand invested, and he's 13. I mean, like, good. If he did nothing else, by the time he hits our age, he's going to have $1 million. I mean, so time is big, and that's what makes it rougher when we're older and starting over. But it's the exact same philosophy. I'm going to take a percentage, I'm going to save it and invest it, and I'm going to keep that sacred. That's it. I mean, that's the only strategy that I've seen work over time. Like everything else is rolling the dice, and what we know is when you go to Vegas, you're going to lose like 95% of the time on the dice rolls.
So investing, what kind of investing? Like what's the safest? Because I know you talk about day trading not being a smart idea, a lot of different investment things that some people are doing that are very risky. What is a couple of investments that you can make that are a little more safe?
Yeah. So the challenge with day trading and that type of thing, which is what I got into and lost all my money, and everyone says, that's because you sucked at it. I'm like, all right, well, maybe I did suck at it. And so then I go and as a scientist, I go and I review all the literature on day trading. And what I found out was that it turns out that 97% of people who do it suck at it. And out of those 3 out of 100 who do it, only one makes more than minimum wage. So wrap your head around that. And as a scientist, we would call that standard error of measurement. So essentially, any 100 people, like something good's going to happen to somebody. It's not because they're good at it. It's just because those are the odds. So I would just suggest that any sort of approach that requires you to be like 1 out of 100 to win is going to be a loser for you. Because even if you won today, you're going to win next, you're going to win tomorrow, chances are not. So any of those get rich quick, but you want to get rich quick. I mean, so it's built into the psychology. It was built into my psychology, is the wrong way to do it. And the right way to do it is to approach it in a statistical way in which, how about this? 100 out of 100 people who do what I'm about to share with you do well investing. And what they do is they invest in the US stock market broadly. So they're not out there picking stocks. I can't really name specific investments. So I'll say it like this. Something like target date funds, which is something that I encourage people to just Google and research. The SEC talks about it as a reasonable approach to investing, in a diversified way. So you're invested in a bunch of different companies, not just one. Like any one company can go belly up. So you want to invest in hundreds or thousands of companies. It's a fabulous way to do it. And like the US stock market for the last 100 years has averaged over 10% a year. And even right now, people are like, oh no, but what's happening in the world? And things are crazy. And I think, by the way, I'm old enough to recognize that things are always crazy. They're just a different type of crazy.
Exactly.
Like when we were kids, I literally have friends who said, I'm not going to save and invest. Dude, we're all going to die from nuclear war. Russia's going to blow us up. We're going to blow them up. And I can only imagine what it was like for previous generations. Like, can you imagine going through World War II? Like, we're worried about what's happening now. What if every country in the world was fighting each other and you weren't sure what language you were going to be speaking 10 years from now in your country based on who won? Vietnam War, Korean War, the Great Depression. I mean, through all those periods of time, on average, the US stock market has returned over 10% a year during those time periods. So I would aim to shoot for the average. 10%, an incredible return if you're just doing US stocks. Don't try to beat the market. That's the key.
Real quick, the financial freedom component. What is financial freedom to you and what is it to most people?
Ooh, that's a great question. So the fact that you're using the word financial freedom is already a reframe because people usually think, I'm going to get rich. I want to be rich. And by the way, I want everyone to be rich. I want you to be rich. I want to be rich. I want you to be rich. It'd be great. But what people associate with being rich is most often wrong and inaccurate. And it's the only reason I say this is because I've researched rich people. Like, I'm just as susceptible to what's on social media as anyone else. Now, I grew up in a time when there wasn't social media, but there was Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous, or our generation, it was MTV Cribs.
Cribs, yeah.
Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah.
And about 10 years ago was my Super Sweet 16, which was this crazy show where there'd be like these ridiculous 16-year-old parties. Did you ever see that? Yeah, it was a little bit after our generation, but I was studying it. And I remember this one scene where they bring this 16-year-old girl out and there's like this brand new BMW out there and they pull off the blindfold and she looks at it and she's like, and runs and stomps away because you got her a black one and she wanted a red one. I mean, it's just like this ridiculous thing about, oh, that's what rich people do. And now it's all over Instagram. If you just put in the hashtag rich and see what images pop up for you. And you're going to see, Lamborghinis and mansions and expensive dinners and Rolex watches and all this fancy jewelry and everything. And as a kid, that's what I thought rich people did. But actually, that's not what rich people do. So most of the studies I've done have shown that to be the case. And I'll give you one example. We looked at this study of over 1,000 people. And we broke them into two categories. And one, we call them ultra wealthy. So they had a net worth of about $11 million. They're doing great. We compared them to a group of people who had a net worth of about $500,000, which is also great. Like, that's solid, like middle or upper middle class. And we asked them a whole variety of questions, looking into their psychology and their spending habits. So I'll talk about the spending habits first, because this shocked me. So think about it as I'm talking about this. Listeners, viewers, what would you imagine? How much would you imagine somebody with $11 million is spending on their car or their house or their watch? Like, what kind of watch is that person wearing? Mm-hmm. How about their last vacation? And we asked them specifically, how much money did you spend on those things? And we compared them to that group of $500,000. And the craziest thing we found that blew my mind was those people who had 11 million. So they had about 18 times the net worth. You would expect them to spend 18 times as much money on those things. They only spent twice as much money on those things. And so, for example, the watch, the average amount of money they spent on a watch was $1,000. That's it. I mean, hey, that's a great watch. It's not like a gold Rolex, right. It's not. So, and same thing with the cars, only twice as much on a car. They were spending on average $50,000 versus $25,000, that kind of thing. And I know people are saying $50,000 for a car, that's ridiculous. Okay, well, let's call them ridiculous then. But somehow that's how, and just think about it logically. how did these people amass 11 million? How do you amass money? How do you hold on to money?
You don't spend it.
Boom! It blew my mind because that's not what you see on social media.
True. Financial freedom to me and like abundance, and I am the most abundant, richest person in the world. And that's how I feel every day when I wake up. And that's where my mindset has really shifted over the last probably like 3 months of just practicing kindness in my life, being grateful for what I have, waking up every day with like, I have what I need today. I'm going to work hard for the future. I'm going to learn as much as I can for the future, but I get to do what I want, when I want, how I want, and where I want. And that's the financial freedom and abundance that I want in my life. You know, would I like to have millions of dollars one day? Absolutely, right? It's good to have a little bit of grease, but that's not my focus. My focus is to add value to other people, show up and be the best version of I can, and show my family through my actions how I live my life to help lift them up. Like that to me is wealth. And a lot of that is because of you and because of, you know, this book and because of what I've learned from Adrian and Lil Mo and people that are in this book that have dramatically changed my life. So I want to thank you for that from the bottom of my heart. And also to Adrian and to Lil Mo as well. They're great people, and I'm so glad that you've been able to bring my awareness to them.
Awesome.
So thank you, Brad.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And you answered the financial freedom. Like I was talking about what it wasn't. But to me, that's what it is too. Like I do not consider you rich if you're making $1 million a year and you have to work 80 hours a week. And because you have to pay your mortgage payment and you got to pay off your car. And guess what? You're not coaching your kids' little league. You want to, but you can't. You know, I hardly saw my dad, you know, and I know they were divorced, but it's like he was literally working 100 hours a week. And he didn't coach my little league. He coached high school baseball because it paid him and he had to get paid. And so for me, like I had that, so I grew up with a very absent father. And I knew early on, it's like, you know, for me, rich, and when I was picturing it too, it's like, yeah, I don't want to be stressed about, I want to be able to eat. I want to have a roof over my head. I want to have clothes, all that. Because being poor does suck. Let me just get that straight. If you don't have those things, life is hard. But if you got those things, man, I want time. I want to be able to play pickleball with my friend, Coach Cary, in the middle of a workday and just schedule it in. I want to be able to, right when we're done with this, I'm going to go pick up my kid from school. That is not a chore for me. That is a blessing that I get to be there to greet my 8-year-old when he comes out of school. So to me, that's what rich is. It's owning your time.
Well, and it's really great that we both, because my father as well was in the car business and he worked 60 to 80 hours a week. He was never home and he wasn't at my games. He didn't coach me, but we both learned from our experiences that we aren't going to do that. We're going to be available for our kids. And I coached my kids' sports for 10 years straight. And it was one of the most fulfilling things I did. And it's helped make him be the man that he's growing up to today. And I'm so blessed that I had that time and that I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Because it's a true blessing. It really is. And all the other kids that you're impacting along the way, you know, and so that they get to learn the right way. And that to me, you can't put a dollar amount on that. You just can't.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah. I mean, I look at people who are lower income, but have that time freedom as being way richer to me than somebody who has high income and no time freedom. I mean, what's the point? What are we doing here? What are we on earth here to do? Amass shiny objects to impress people? Not me. I don't want to do it. I don't want to be missing out. To me, life is about experiences and love and joy and sharing and connection and closeness. So to me, it's all about experiences. And so if you are, and look, if you love your work, that's great. That's a great experience. And I hope we do. We should all strive to love our work. But if loving your work is coming at the cost of your ability to go work out, to stay healthy, to spend time with the people you love, to pursue relationships, that's another thing that's very worrisome right now, where people are not even dating and not even pursuing a close connection with another human being. It's really frightening. You're missing out on what I think is the most valuable experience.
Yeah, and that's what is such a value for me working with people, is helping bring them back to that, bring them back to themselves, and to realize that all this burnout and all this work, and at the end of the day, there's nothing left for you. Yeah, you've made the check and you got the car, but like you're just not fulfilled because your energy level, it's just been taken. It's like there's no energy left for you. So that's why I love to teach people, hey, just do something kind for yourself in the morning. Make yourself a priority for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, and fill your cup up some, because you're the engine that drives your whole life. And if you don't take care of your engine in your car, what happens? It breaks down, it fails. So why not pour some of that intentional kindness into your life so that you can excel in every part that you want to?
I love that intentional kindness. And, what I would say too is that, and you probably coach your people this too, a lot of it's just the stuff around you already.
Yeah.
Like how about like your morning coffee? Like,
exactly.
Like smell it. Like these beans came from across the world and were harvested and roasted just for you. And you're about to get this dose of caffeine. Like just immerse yourself in the experience of self-love around all the things around you.
Yeah. Or just sit there for 2 minutes and be like, life's been hard, but I want to congratulate you for showing up today. You know what? Good job, man. Good job. It's that simple to just ground yourself and show yourself some kindness. And most people, they get a little freaked out when you say love yourself. They're like, whoa, what? I'm like, hold on. So you'll stick your tongue in some other person's mouth and who knows where else, but you won't give yourself a hug? What's wrong with you? Come on, man.
That's hilarious. And true.
It's so true. All right. How many books have you written?
So my 10th book is going to be published. Is it April? In April. Yep.
And is this your favorite one?
That is that is the book that is the most authentically me. So I've written textbooks. It's all psychology and money. I don't think I've ever written a book that has personal stories in it though. So I kind of went there in that book.
Well, and I love this book so much because there's so much mindset in it.
Yeah.
It's so much mindset. And when it comes down to it, like you said just a little while ago, everything is mindset. What's your favorite part in this book?
Oh my goodness.
You had to pick one. And I know you've done a lot of podcasts on this book.
Yeah.
And
my favorite part of the process was, coming up with, what are the harsh truths, like, and how do we frame them and how do we look at them? I don't know. Each one of them just brings so much of how I've approached life for myself. But I think the way that we've integrated the research on the psychology of wealth, like a rich mindset, and a lot of it, I think that really matters. It's stuff that it's just the titles are terrible, right? Like it's not your fault if you're born poor, but it's your fault if you die poor. To be honest, that's probably my favorite mindset because I grew up poor and it clearly wasn't my fault. But if I die poor, it kind of is my fault. That's kind of the way I look at it, and not to be shaming. And I sort of make this joke too. It's like I'm not suggesting that you tiptoe into your grandfather's room as he's laying on his deathbed, and he died poor, and you whisper in his ear, it's your fault. I'm not saying that. This is meant to inspire you, quite frankly. And so a lot of those are sort of like slaps in the face, the titles. But it's really meant to sort of like grab you by the shoulders and say, you got this, you can do this. There's so much that we can blame life and circumstances on, and the economy and all these things are out of our control. But really, success in every area of life really does come down to blaming yourself as much as possible in a loving, kind way, because really it's empowering. And the best example I give is if I come home and my wife's really grouchy and she's snapping at me because I didn't do something. By the way, I did it. Okay. And if I look at that, you have a couple choices in that moment. Number one is to be like, oh, what a bitch, and she's her and this and that, and it's because she has daddy issues or something. I don't know. And all of which is out of my control because here I am. I'm married to this woman who's a tyrant, and she's so mean and she doesn't see the true me. She doesn't see all the stuff I did do. You could do that. Or you could say, so clearly she's not having a good experience, and specifically of me right now. So what could I do? And by the way, I want her to have a good experience of me. So what could I do? Like, what could I do to give her a better experience of me? And it's so incredibly empowering in that moment because I shift from I'm a total victim. And by the way, I'm a little bit of a victim, right? Come on now. Let's be honest. I'm doing so much.
We're human beings.
So. I'm doing so much. She's clearly not seeing all that I'm doing. Okay, set that aside. Okay, got it. And yeah, the economy is clearly bad. Okay, got it. Um, but what can I do to make this situation better? Because I'm going to tell you what, we have so much more control. And I've heard people say this, like the thing that's truly scary is how much power we really do have. And if you really embrace how much power you really do have, people are afraid to do it because they're going to have to shuffle through all their old experiences and kind of take the hit and saying, oh my gosh, well, if I had done this, maybe I would have had a different outcome. And that right there scares so many people off from that mindset that they're not even willing to go there. I say look at that stuff with compassion. Like you did the best you could with what you know. You're now being provided with a new mindset. Like adopt it. And by the way, I love new mindsets like this. I'm always looking for them. If there's a better way for me to look at something, I'm all in. But I think that's probably the most powerful mindset throughout the book is what we call in psychology that internal locus of control. Like the outcomes I'm getting in my life, my wife's grouchy face, my kids being mad at me, not getting paid when I want to get paid is under my control to influence.
Yeah, I mean, taking that full accountability that I have control of myself. I don't have control of the financial market. I don't have control of the government. I don't have control of this situation or that situation. But really taking that accountability is so hard for so many people.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, it didn't turn out right that time or this happened. No, just take that accountability and raise that awareness so that you can make that choice. But it is very, very difficult for people to do that.
Yeah, and I think it's you're here because your ancestors were good at it. I mean, they were good at trying to find a way around it. It's like, oh no, hail killed all the crops. What are we gonna do? Oh, I don't know. We're gonna learn to fish. And because the human beings who didn't adapt didn't pass on their genes, so we come from people who are willing to adapt. And if you think about it historically, we've adapted to so much in the last 100 years, in the last 50 years. And so we're built to adapt. And so it's just reminding yourself of what you are genetically programmed to do. And that is to find a way to survive at least, but we want you to thrive.
Let's jump in the pool of failure. A lot of people are just like, oh, coach, it's so hard. And, oh, I don't know. That's just so difficult to do. And I'm like, what are you scared of? Right? It's like a baseball player fails 70% of the time when they go up and hit, right? Because if you have a 300 batting average of baseball, that's pretty darn good, right? So how can people learn that failure is just another opportunity and not let it keep them down? Because I always tell people, I'm like, it's just another chance to do it again. You get to refocus, make a tweak, do something like that. What would you tell someone about failure?
Yeah, I love that you went to the sports metaphor because that's where I was going to go. Like I will tell my kids, that when they start a sport, oh, I'm not any good at baseball. I'll be like, dude, you suck at baseball. Like you've never played baseball. Like you absolutely suck. Yes, you know nothing. You don't know how to do it, and everything you do is wrong. Yes, of course. And I've told them from the start. And this is how it is with everything in life that you're starting out. You're an idiot. You suck. You don't know anything. You're ignorant. You have zero skills. Of course you're going to fail. Of course you're going to fail. And you're going to fail over and over and over and over. But that's, of course, how you become an expert over time. That's how you learn. And so I've actually normalized sucking for my kids as much as possible. And just sort of recognizing that you suck. I mean, yes, everyone sucks until you learn it. So for me, failure is guaranteed. Here's an interesting study too. They looked at financial failures, and the average millionaire has had 3 major financial catastrophes. 3. The average non-millionaire, slightly less than 1. And so that's a statistical anomaly. You're like, how can somebody have slightly less than 1? But essentially, 1 failure, and then they quit. And you know why they quit? They quit because they don't have an internal locus of control, frankly. They quit because they're like, oh, the deck was stacked against me. Rich people were sabotaging me. It's the government.
Victim.
Yeah. And if you have that mindset, like, by the way, like, I'm not here suggesting that capitalism is perfect or even good. I don't care. Like, I can't control it. Or that, politicians aren't crooked. Of course they are. Never trust a politician. um, I mean, there's like, or that, you know, there aren't rich, greedy bastards out there. Of course there are. But, you know, that's only part of the story. And it doesn't stop there. You know, you have to ask yourself, like, well, why would I put my faith into a politician? Like, why did you do that? Why did you trust this person, that person, or the other? What is it about you that ignored the red flags of somebody who turned out to be not trustworthy? In retrospect, you can see all those red flags. And so then you're like, well, why did I ignore them? What is it about me? Was I sort of desperate to try? Did I think that they could help me get us something that I wanted? And so I was willing to kind of push those aside. I mean, like that's where failure is so incredibly valuable, is because you can sort of dissect where you went wrong and what you didn't know and how you would do it differently. And even if the economy throws you a curveball, and all of a sudden your industry's dead because of the economy. And by the way, it happens all the time.
It happened to me with my furniture store.
Yeah.
I mean, that was the factor, is just people stopped coming into the stores because convenience, economy, whatever, you know? So yeah, I'm very, very familiar with that.
Yeah. And like, I'm thinking of my father-in-law who, owned an electronics store, and, all of a sudden the big boxes came in, and he lived on an island. All the big boxes came in, took away all his business. I mean, it's like, that's not his fault. But he adjusted, he shifted his business model. He's looking for the next opportunity. I mean, that's sort of the mindset. If he didn't have that internal locus control, he'd have just quit and been like, look, man, the deck's stacked against me. But just to know that the most successful entrepreneurs, the wealthiest people, have had multiple failures along the way. And the rest of us just stop after one.
That makes me feel so good, because I've had a couple for sure.
Oh, you need one more? No,
I think I've had 3.
Okay, all right.
I'm pretty sure we're at 3 at this point. So, mentors. I want to say that yourself and the people in this book have been extremely prominent in my life to help me get to where I am right now. And it's been about 2 years since I met you, and your book came out, it'll be 2 years ago, last November, I believe, right? And I just want to thank you, because I was in a place when I met you that I was like, wow, who is this guy? Like, I was starting to post on social media, and, you know, you've been doing it for a while, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But I just want to thank you, because you really have been a mentor to me, even though maybe you don't realize it. Just through your posts and through your book and through our connection, because we haven't really spent any time together besides playing a little bit of pickleball and saying hi to each other. But you have been a very strong mentor in my life. So I wanted to thank you for that. And who has been a strong mentor in your life?
It's a good question. I've actually struggled with, we're getting personal here. I've never really talked about this. I've struggled with sort of putting my faith into a mentor. But what I am willing to do, what I love to do, is learn from everyone I possibly can. So I literally think that my list of mentors is tens of thousands of people, including, and you don't know this, you. So the first time I played pickleball with you, I was like, oh my God, this guy is so freaking good. And I am not nearly as good. And so it's totally true. It's totally true. And so I'm like, I even probably asked you for tips. I don't know if you remember that.
Of course I did.
Yeah. So I'm like, in that moment, I'm like, you are my mentor in pickleball. In that moment, I take it, and you were willing to offer suggestions and advice, and I took it. And I'm always looking for the next mentor, always. And so I can think of a lot of people who've written books and have presented ideas for me. I'd say my best mentors are probably my closest friends. And they're not mentors for me because I sought them out because they had some sort of esteem, but they know me. And they're willing to say, hey, Brad, I hear you talking about that. Are you open to a suggestion? Like, can I just point something out to you that I'm hearing you say? And I'm just like, oh shit. And then I'm like, yes, I want to hear it. I want to hear it.
Yes.
I want to hear it.
That humility, right?
I'm desperate for. I love it.
Me too.
I love it. I love somebody saying, hey, Brad, woo-hoo, you're kind of stuck in this thing. And, you can stay there if you want. Or here's another way of looking at it.
Yes.
What would it be? What would your life experience be right now if you looked at what you're doing and what you're going through right now like this? Just if you looked at it like this, what would your experience be right now? And it's like, oh, yeah. And then you get to choose. You're like, well, do I want to stay in this feeling that I'm having right now, an experience that isn't so good? Or do I want to go over here and think about it this way? And after the emotions subside, so I'll be honest, like sometimes you're emotionally attached to this thing. And then once that subsides, you'd be like, all right, you know what? I'm going to look at it this way because it's empowering. It helps, gives me action, makes me feel better.
Yeah, it's like it's a fresh start. And I
Yes.
always look at it as when I meet somebody, it's like they have a superpower. They have at least one superpower,
Yes.
and I want that superpower. So I pay attention to maybe just something they do. It could be a mannerism on the pickleball court. It could be a certain shot, just something I'm like, man, I'm taking that superpower and I'm going to use it. And you can learn from anyone, just like you're saying, the 1,000 mentors or all the different people that you interact with.
I agree. And one of my favorite things to do is to just find out what that is for people. Like, so what is it? Like, what is it you do? And get people talking about what they're most passionate about. And what you're going to find is that, there's that research on people become experts after 10,000 hours
Yeah.
engaged in I want to find out what that 10,000 hours is for you because you're going to be an expert at something. And whether it's rearing a child, whether it's some type of sport, whether it's customer service, you're working at McDonald's and you're just like incredible at customer service. What I'm really interested in is what is your mindset? So when you're approaching a customer, what are you thinking? Because I'm looking at that, I'm like, if I could embody that level of customer service, even though I'm doing something totally different, oh my gosh, it would take me to the next level. So I want to figure out what is it you're thinking? How are you approaching this? And I feel like, as you said, I feel like everybody has something like that, and I want to learn it because that's gold.
It's definitely gold. There's no question about it.
And I'll say this too, because I know you coach a lot of people, and I know you know this. Most people have no clue what that is for them because they've been doing it for so long. It's just natural. So they haven't even been able to pull it out as this exceptional strength of theirs because to them it feels easy, and they don't even realize that no, like most people can't do that. Most people aren't having that experience with that particular skill or that particular mindset.
Let's jump into your social media journey.
Okay.
When did your social media journey start? Why? And
Yeah,
why did
yeah.
you decide to do that?
I'm a little bit terrible historian, but I think I started on YouTube. I'm going to say maybe roughly like 2015 or something, making YouTube videos. And at that time, I was working in high schools with kids and all that. I moved to Boulder in 2019, like 6 months before the COVID experience. But I really missed talking to kids, high school kids. And for me, I was a psychologist working with high school kids. So it's all about mindset. It's about how do I get this teacher to love me and give me an A? That was one of my favorite things to do is how do I manipulate this teacher into giving me an A? Working with oppositional kids. It's great because everything you need to do is going to make you successful in life if you can get that teacher to love you. And because that teacher hates you right now because you're being an asshole in her class. So how do I train you into manipulation? So anyway, I just love working with teenagers. They're so open-minded. Ironically, you bring the parents in; they're the closed-minded ones. The kids are very willing to admit their mistakes. It's the parents who had a tough time admitting their mistakes. So anyway, I loved working with that age group in Hawaii, and I moved here and I wasn't doing it anymore. And so one of my nephews showed me this interesting app called TikTok. And
was it Musical.ly then?
No, it wasn't. It
was
had just become TikTok, and I'd never seen anything like it. And I don't even know what the videos were. They're hilarious though, like little meme videos. And I'm laughing. I remember vividly sitting on the couch in Hawaii. They were visiting. And I'm flipping through this thing, and then I see this video on somebody selling day trading. Now, backstory. I became a financial psychologist because I lost all my money. Day trading, I started to do it about 3 months before the tech bubble burst and where everyone lost money. But I just lost all my money. I'm like, oh my gosh, why would a reasonably intelligent person be such an idiot? And I did that. Why am I so dumb? Why did I do that? What is wrong with me? And so I literally started to look into my own psychology, interviewing my parents. Okay, why am I messed up around money, Mom? I'm going to blame you, Mom.
Hey,
Dad. I did. And I sat down. I interviewed both of them. What was it like for Grandma and Grandpa? around money. I mean, I was digging deep. I had to figure out my psychology. Why did I find myself in this mess? Why did I think I could get rich quick?
So you coached yourself right on out of that situation.
Yeah. Well, after a period of feeling shame and embarrassment and failure and like, oh my gosh, why? And that's the question I asked myself. And I think this is the question you should ask yourself. Why would a reasonably intelligent person like you make that dumb choice? And I was like, I'm going to find out. And I found all these stories in my family history that made total sense why I would do this, of course. And I didn't know any better. I didn't know any rich people. I thought this is how people got rich. And I saw somebody make $100,000 doing it in 1 year. And I had $100,000 in student loan debt. So I was like, this is my way to get out of debt. So anyway, I already explained the stats on it. So I saw this video pop up and I was like, no, I was so mad, Cary. I'm like, wait, you're teaching this next generation to day trade? And so I immediately started making anti-day trading content because I was so upset and I'm like, all I saw was all this bad information. And I'm like, because it was, frankly, it was an early app. Professionals weren't on there. And by the way, professionals are boring as hell. So nobody wants to listen to you because you're a doctor or something. Good Lord. They're not going to listen to you because you are one, because you don't know how to talk to people. And so I started to try to make engaging content that educated people. So that's how I started.
Well, you've done a great job. How many followers do you have across all the platforms?
I'd say maybe like close to 1.5 million.
1.5, yeah.
Something like that.
That's what I was thinking. And
Yeah.
are you primarily on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Snapchat?
Not a lot on Snapchat.
LinkedIn?
Yeah, LinkedIn. Yep.
Those are your primary platforms?
Yep.
Do you change your content per platform, or do you just like have something and you put it on all of them?
Sometimes I do. Like LinkedIn's a different audience.
Yeah.
So I'll post different types of content there. But a lot of my videos, I'll just post across platforms. So I sort of make them that they could fit on any of them.
So you told me, I think it was 1.5 years ago, that you were going to get 100,000 YouTube subscribers in 2025. Was that right? Wasn't that your goal?
Yes.
And how did that
Wait,
go?
what year is it now? Do I have any more time left? Yeah, well, I failed. I failed at achieving that goal.
Because you got 16,000 or so?
Well, I mean, I have 16,000, but I think I started the year maybe with, 13,000 or 12, something like that.
So you got about 10% maybe of what you were
thinking. Yes.
How did that make you feel with that goal, and why do you think you didn't reach it?
Well, it's because of the YouTube algorithm. Well, because clearly I am not making content on there that is resonating or connecting with an audience enough to kind of kick it up into the algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's what's happening. So, and I set these audacious goals and I share them with people because I'm not afraid of failure, and also it's inspiring. Yeah. And actually, my 13-year-old's the same thing. Dad, you didn't get 100,000 this year, and I'm like, you're right, I didn't. And so, and he's 13, right? So he's like, yeah, and I'm like, you know what? It's probably because of my click-through rate. And so, let me analyze my click-through rate. Because I can't control getting 100K, but I can control my click-through rate. I can influence my click-through rate. So part of it is learning what is it you can do. And so I'm happy to report this. So in the last 3 months, I've taken my click-through rate from about 3% to about 5%, which is pretty good. Okay. And so, yeah, so I just love these types of projects. I love setting these goals. I love experimenting. The other goal, so part of it's process too. Like you can control the process. Like some people say, don't set a goal like 100,000 because you're going to crumble under failure. I could care less if I fail. But you also need to set process goals. So my commitment was I'm going to make at least one long form video that's 8 to 12 minutes a week and post it. I'm going to make from that long form video about 10 shorts. I'm going to post 2 shorts a day. So I have all these processes in place that I have utter control over, but then I like to set that audacious goal that I don't really have control over because I think it's fun.
That's awesome, bro. Thank you so much for coming and talking with me. I've been looking forward to this for a while now.
Yeah.
For a while. What's the biggest barrier to becoming a better pickleball player?
Biggest barrier.
And where are you right now?
Oh,
4.3, 4.4, 4.5. What are you?
yeah,
Somewhere in there?
You want to know what I think I am or what I am?
Well, I know you think you're a pro like me.
Exactly.
You're like, man, I'm so good.
This should be a pickleball podcast. Clearly. Yeah. So I'm currently in Duper of 4.2.
Okay.
Yeah. Went down a little bit after the last tournament. So, all right. Honestly, it's making dumb decisions. That is my biggest barrier. It's like, first of all, it's not knowing the right decisions to make. So some of it is a lack of what is the ideal shot. Well, there's 3 components. So that's it. Knowing what the ideal shot is. So there's understanding the game. What am I trying to achieve here? Number 2 is tens of thousands of reps on performing that exact action. And then number 3 is not making a dumb choice. Like, you know what those are, like speeding up cross court. I mean, I got a list of dumb things I will fall into.
I think that's why I love pickleball, because it's literally like life. Yeah. It's a metaphor for life. You know, the awareness component, the making dumb decisions, the practicing, the showing up, it's all like the same thing. And that's why I really feel like pickleball helps me like be better at everything that I do. And that's why I love it so much.
I agree, as well as making us live longer. I mean, paddle sports and relationships and health.
10 years longer if you play paddle sports, guys?
Yep,
10 years longer, guys. Come on, get that pickleball paddle.
And we'll be launching our new pickleball coaching course after we're pro.
Someone out there that's thinking about, man, I'm not good enough to be on social media. Why would I want to show up? I'm really struggling. I feel like I'm in that dark hole. What could you tell them as far as a process to be able to show up to life, and just a little bit of self-help, if you will, from Dr. Brad?
Yeah. Well, I think for social media, it's kind of easy compared to, like, if you ask me that, like, I'm not ready for television, I'd be like, well, maybe you're not, because television is like hitting a global market. You're shooting right down the middle. I mean, social media is like, people are desperate right now for what you have to say. And you mentioned it, everyone has that shining light inside of them. Everyone has that expertise they can bring into the world, whether it's a tip on healthy cooking or exercise motivation or relationships or how to raise a kid or how to knit a sweater. I mean, these things are essential for people to know. And what's great about social media is you can connect with tens of thousands of people and give them your wisdom and your offering and your business idea, whatever it is, and make a profound difference in their lives. And so I would say you are hurting people by not being on social media, sharing your wisdom and your gift.
And it's free.
It's free.
I don't think there's ever been a better time in human history to start a business, create something by just putting yourself out there.
Yep.
And you never know. You just never know how it could be received by someone. You might change someone's life the very first post that you make.
Yeah.
Just like I was saying earlier, the millions of people that you've helped through your content. I mean, that makes you feel good to a certain point, but you're just being you.
Yeah.
It's not like, I made all these people feel good. No, it's just, you're just doing you. And that's what's so special about it, because people put you on a pedestal. They're like, oh, Brad or whoever they're an influencer and they have all these millions of followers and this and that. And you're just a human being, just like me and just like the people that are watching. And it's possible. It's so possible for anyone to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're saying people put me on a pedestal. You should read my comment section. I don't think I'm on I mean, and that's what people worry about too, is like, oh, but people are going to troll me. It's like, well, yeah, of course they are. They absolutely are. And just recognizing that those are people who aren't as evolved as you are yet. And I sort of picture them as really angry 14-year-olds who don't have a parent at home loving them and hugging them. And they might be in a 50-year-old body, but that's really what it is. These are people who are hurting deeply inside. And so shake that off. I mean, and just expect it, because you're going to get, when you put yourself out there, you're immediately going to get negative feedback. And probably the first people are going to do it are people in real life. And so just block all of them.
Well, it's like the people that are supposed to love us the most are the ones that are the meanest to us sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's just something that people have to realize. I also love that when people troll, I watch how you respond, is you have fun with it.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you're able to turn those people to your side because you recognize, hey, what are you so upset about? Like, understand that you're like being really angry and you're upset about something, but can we talk for a minute and like see what's really going on? And then you find out it has nothing to do with you. They're upset because they didn't take the trash out or whatever it might be. And I love that challenge of bringing someone up on my live and being like, hey, let's just talk for a minute. You know, you want to come at me because I don't have a certain qualification or certificate or whatever. That's fine. Tell me what's really going on. And then most of the time they'll be like, I'm sorry.
Yeah, of course. They're just hurting little.
I'm sorry.
I feel bad for them, but in my mind, they're like an angry 15-year-old, and I worked with angry 15-year-olds, so I kind of give it back to them. You know, I got that part in me too. So I try to have fun with it though.
Where can people find your content? Reach out to you. I will definitely put everything in the details of the show, but for people that are just listening on Spotify or in their car or something.
Yeah, I would say, your favorite social media platform. I'm at Dr. Brad Klontz.
It's just at Dr. Brad Klontz for everything.
Yeah.
Perfect. Brad, bro,
thank you, my friend.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
I hope you guys were listening. I know that I'm super excited to watch this back. I always learn so much in a podcast, and I learn even more the second time I listen to it. It's just that way. Even though I'm here talking with you, I listen to it back and I'm like, man, that was some gold. So you guys, this was the Finding Your Higher Consciousness podcast. Coach Cary, Dr. Brad, thank you so much. Hope to see you again.
Take care.
Thanks, bro. That was awesome.
You bet.
All right, we've got an hour and 1 minute.
All right.